electricians. So, so I want to put this up on the screen, and we're going to talk about some of the things that would violate the 2020 National Electrical Code, which is in jurisdiction in our area, which is Florida. So my name is Joe. I'm the qualifier of Others Electric, and this video series is to teach electricians and homeowners and anybody electrical and code education. So I'm just going to get right to it. So here we have this, right? I want you to look at this photo. So in this photo, we have somebody asked that they said, hey, here's my panel install, how did I do? So we're just going to talk about it. I've got 10 minutes before my kids get home from school. So I got 10 minutes before my kids get home from school, so I'm going to try to get this done in 10 minutes. I'm just going to put it up on the board, and we're going to talk about it. So here we go. All right. So the first thing I'd like to point out, this is the big board. Welcome to the big board. I hope you guys can see it. Okay. So the first thing is, I don't see any arc fault breakers or GFI breakers. And based on some of the, see if I can zoom that in a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit. Based on some of the labels on some of these breakers, kitchen west wall, kitchen east wall, outdoor lights, fan, that's required. 21012 requires arc fault breakers. So no arc fault. So we got this. So we're going to come over here. Let's get our pen. Yeah, here we go. So how do I change my pen color? I don't even know. So, all right, so we got arc fault breakers here. So we got NEC 210.12. Okay, that's one. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. All right, let's clear that. Okay, now we're going to back it up a little bit. Clear it again. Let's go to our cursor. We're going to back up again. So that's the obvious ones. Now, since I don't know the situations downstream, I'm not going to call them out for any GFCI breakers, but in my experience, some of these should be GFCI breakers, like the washer receptacle. It's required to be 210.8 requires GFI receptacles, or the washer circuit to be on GFCI. I'm assuming maybe it's accessible and maybe it's downstream. So I'm not going to mention that. Next thing we got here. I saw a lot of people harping on this. So we go in here and we're talking about this right here. A lot of municipalities don't accept that because they consider it bundling. I don't think that's a violation. I'm going to assume that that pipe is less than 24 inches. And the code says that if a conduit is less than 24 inches long, you can fit as many wires as you can fit in there without having to derate. So I'm going to say that that being a PVC pipe is going to be less than 24 inches. If this pipe right here is more than 24 inches, that's going to be a violation. Okay? Next, let's clear this. Let's clear it. Go back to the cursor. Let's see if I can come over here. Let's come over here. Let's click on the picture again. Click on the picture again. The main one that I want to talk about here is, let's zoom in. Okay, we're going to zoom in right here. You see what's missing? What's missing right here? Get my pen back, or come over here. I can do a different color pen. Let's do a yellow pen. Let's see what that looks like. Close that. Let's do a yellow pen. So you see this right here? We're missing a main bonding jumper. That's a code violation. So basically right now this whole panel and all of the grounds that he has connected to the ground plugs are not grounded because he doesn't have his main bonding jumper in. I'm going to assume that this is his first means of disconnect. And if that's his first means of disconnect, we're missing a main bonding jumper to initiate the equipment grounding conductor from this point forward. Okay? Now, that's going to be, let me put that up there. And we're going to look here on Google, because I don't know it off the top of my head. I think it's 250.28, main bonding jumper. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. So basically what this means is, let me clear this, clear it, and go back to the cursor, that if you see here, he's got behind here is his ground bars, right, where he mounted to the panel. And all these grounds are tied into that ground bar. If there's no main bonding jumper, this can isn't tied to the neutral, right? Which means that it's not grounded. There's no path back to the source to open up any of the breakers. All right? So let's clear that here. I'm going to show you why I think this is the first means of disconnect. Because if it's not, you see this here? What has he got coming in? He's only got 3 conductors coming in, and this tells me that it's his first means. That on the back side of this wall is probably a meter, and he brought in his 2 hot legs and his grounded conductor, which is his neutral. So there's no ground wire that came with this, so that tells me this is probably coming directly from utility or a meter. This comes in here, and there is not grounded. Okay, so I'm sure he put the main bonding jumper in. He just did it after he took this picture. Okay, all right, everybody. I probably got 4 more minutes. Let's look and see. Let's clear this up. Let's clear it all. Go back to our cursor, and let's have a look-see and see if there's any other violations. Oh, yeah. So you go to our pins. These conductors need to be identified. Needs to be identified. Okay? Needs to be identified. And technically, there's a code that says any wire smaller than number 4 has to be, no, that's for the neutral. What I was saying is the neutral has to be white. You are allowed to identify this as a phase conductor. So he needs to identify this as a phase conductor. It can't be white. This has got to be black or red, black or red, or black or red here. Okay? If this was a neutral conductor, if he was using a black wire, you can't use a black 6, I think it's either 6 or 4 or smaller. It has to be white. It's not allowed to be phased. But so there's the main ones I see, let alone the GFCI requirements, let alone the arc fault requirements. I know arc faults suck, especially with the supply chain bullcrap and the manufacturers just tripping hazards, but it's still code. And in Florida, we're in the 2020 NEC now since January 1st. So that's what I see. Now, if you would like any other posts or pictures to be reviewed for code compliance, go ahead and send them over. Hashtag OthersElectric, or post them Others Electric on our Facebook or OthersElectric.com. And again, I'm a licensed Florida electrical contractor. I'm a licensed building inspector, a licensed electrical inspector, a licensed residential 1 and 2 family inspector, and a licensed plan reviewer in the state of Florida for electrical. And I also have my fire inspector 1 for plan review and fire inspections for building. So, all right, everybody, thank you. My name is Joe. I'm going to sign off now before my kids get home. Thanks for hanging out with me for these 10 minutes, and I will talk to you later.